All right. My name is Erica Hatch, and today I'm going to be talking to you about ADHD and kind of what that means for you to be diagnosed with this genetic disorder and kind of how it happened, where it came from, how did you just wake up one day and have ADHD? So what is ADHD? ADHD is a behavioral disorder that kind of starts off in your childhood. Typically, people will be diagnosed with ADHD when they're children. And it still can happen for adults. An adult can be diagnosed with ADHD later on in their life, but typically you will see it in children. There are three main characteristics of ADHD. The three are inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Inattention just kind of means you have a short attention span. You can't sit there for too long and concentrate on something because then you're just going to want to go and concentrate on something else. Hyperactivity just means you are really, really active. It's really hard for you to be calm and stay still. And impulsivity, it pretty much just means you have poor muscle control. You just want to jump all over the place. So first off, we are going to talk about the genetics behind the disorder. What makes this happen to you? What's going on inside of your body to make you have ADHD and someone else not have ADHD? So the cause behind this is your genetics. We are all made up of genes, and these genes kind of make us who we are. They're our blueprint for, who we are as people. Why our body does this, why our body does this. A gene's home is in a chromosome, and a gene's job, sort of, is to provide their assigned protein with information so that the protein can do its job. So the gene kind of just gives information to the protein, and then the protein's job is to give messages to cells so that the cells can carry out functions in your body. Okay? And sometimes things can happen to our genes, a mutation. A mutation can happen to our genes so that they don't really work how they normally would, So for ADHD specifically, it's a gene-specific change, so there's a mutation on a specific gene. There can be multiple genes that can contribute to ADHD. There's DRD5, ADHD4, ADHD3, DRD4, ADHD1, ADHD2, but we're really just going to focus on DRD5. So if there's a mutation on any of these genes, you will be more susceptible to be diagnosed with ADHD, basically. So the DRD5 gene, its chromosomal location is 4p16.1, and this gene and chromosome, they kind of give instructions to make a protein called dopamine receptor D5. And this protein, remember how we said the proteins kind of pass on the information to the cells so that functions can be carried out in your body? Well, this protein specifically, the dopamine receptor D5, it works with a neurotransmitter called dopamine. And when dopamine attaches to the D5 receptor, chemical reactions within the nerve cells occur, and kind of the normal functions behind this dopamine signaling function is it regulates attention, mood, memory, learning, movement, and the mutation on the DRD5 gene kind of alters these functions. Your attention and mood and memory and learning ability isn't going to be like someone else's because of this mutation on the gene that affected the protein and then now is affecting neurotransmitter that go off to other cells. So you're not able to really function as a normal person would that doesn't have a mutation. So did you get this from mom and dad? Probably, but it's not for sure that you got it from mom and dad. According to the Genetics Home Reference, ADHD has a tendency to run in families, but the inheritance pattern is not typically known. So you do have a much greater chance of having ADHD if your sibling has it or if your parents have it. And actually, the risk is 9 times greater, which is a lot. So what does this mean for you? What does it mean for you now that you know that you have ADHD? How will this change your life? What will you experience? What will you go through? So there's a lot of symptoms that you will experience because you have ADHD. We talked about this before, but we'll go in a little bit more depth with it. So inattention. You are oftentimes going to find yourself overlooking or missing details and making careless mistakes at work or school because it's really hard for you to pay attention, okay? And you're going to have a lot of issues maintaining attention in conversation, reading, and play. So you could be having a conversation with your teacher, with your sports coach, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to listen to what they're saying if they're talking to you for a long time because it's hard for you to pay attention, okay? You're going to experience a lot of distractions. You're not going to be able to follow through with instructions as well, just because, again, you're going to be distracted. You're going to get distracted. You're going to have organizational issues because it's going to be hard for you to pay attention to one thing and organize one thing when in your mind you're thinking of a million different things, okay? And then we mentioned earlier hyperactivity and impulsivity, okay? So you're going to find yourself fidgeting, you're going to find yourself squirming in your seat, you're going to want to get up and leave your seat if you're in a classroom setting. It's going to be really hard for you to just remain in one seat at school for a long period of time. And your teachers should be aware of this, okay? You're going to want to talk non-stop. You're probably going to be that kid in class when the teacher asks a question, you're going to raise your hand right away and you're just going to talk forever, okay? You're going to be your teacher's favorite student probably. So another thing you're going to experience is the inability to remain quiet. So this might get you in trouble sometimes, but again, your teacher, your coach, your parents should be aware of this, okay, and should know how to deal with it, okay? You're going to have trouble waiting for your turn because you're just going to get excited. You're going to be really active. You're just going to want to, do the things you want to do, okay? So you will experience these things, but you will learn how to overcome them, okay? So treatment options for ADHD, they should be, and I can't say this enough, it should be individualized for you. Your physician, they're not just going to have a set plan as soon as you walk in the door before they even know you about what medications your child should be on or you should be on as an adult, what interventions you should have. It's going to be individualized to you because people experience ADHD in different ways, okay? So there are pharmacological interventions. They're kind of, most of the medications you'll have are stimulants, okay? And they'll help improve your decision making, your schoolwork productivity, and your academic achievements, okay? But again, this isn't the same for everyone, okay? Your physician should be able to sit down with you and individualize this for you, okay? There's also non-pharmacological interventions that you can do, such as, behavior management. You can have organizational skills training, physical exercise, so you can kind of exert that energy that you have pent up, okay? So like I said, there's the behavioral management and there's the medication, okay? And you can have more of one or more of the other, okay? This is individualized for you, and your physician will be the one to, decide that with you. And you'll be able to talk with them, and, maybe you would want more of a behavioral management. You don't want your kid on medications, but maybe you're the other way around and you would rather have medications to help your child in school, okay? So again, your physician will help you out with that. So financial information. In 2005, I know that was a long time ago, but it's still pretty true today. There was a study done, and people, parents who had kids that had ADHD typically had a lot higher medical bills than a family that didn't have a child with ADHD. And same thing went with adults. They would pay a lot more money annually on, medical bills than someone that didn't have ADHD. And a lot of this is because you have increased hospitalization, you have more primary care office visits, you have more outpatient mental health visits, and you have more pharmacy fills because you more than likely will be on medication if that's the route you choose. So because of this, you will pay more money. And there are a lot of financial aid options for you that, of course, your physician, wherever you are, they will direct you down that path, okay? So, life at home. How will your life at home be changed because you or your child has ADHD? Um, a lot of times there are things that can make life better at home. So you can join a support group to share experiences and ideas. You can seek professional help if you are feeling depressed, frustrated, or exhausted as a parent or as an adult. You can work together with those you love. You are not alone in this. Your child is experiencing this too. Your, whoever you live with is experiencing it with you, okay? And learn tools of successful behavior management. Again, every child, every adult that has ADHD is going to be different, and you will have to learn as you go. And obviously, we're going to talk about ways that, this can help you, but it's going to be different for everyone. Life at home is going to be different, okay? So CHADD is an amazing website. They are very supportive and very knowledgeable about children or adults with ADHD. I highly suggest you visit this website. It is so good. They are very helpful in a lot of ways that, your physician or other people might not be able to help you because it's other people talking about, ADHD. I mean, having a kid with ADHD, being an adult with ADHD. They can give you resource information about treatment, financial considerations, contact information, support groups, counseling, physicians that are great for you, and parent-to-parent training. They can actually train you as a parent to be able to deal with a child that has ADHD. An important thing to remember is that you can do anything. Just because you have ADHD does not mean that you, as a child, will not be able to go to college. You, as an adult, will not be able to get a job. You will be able to do those things. You will just have a different path than other people, okay? But you can do anything you put your mind to.